Another day, another apology from Rob Ford. He is still the mayor of Toronto, but today Toronto City Council voted to strip the mayor of most of his powers, a move he and his brother, Councillor Doug Ford, denounced as undemocratic. Earlier this evening, I sat down with both men in the mayor's office just after the vote.
I'd like to ask about that, but when you heard your fellow councillors say he's ill, he's got a sickness problem.
Yeah, they don't know Rob. They aren't around Rob. They don't hang out with Rob. And I find it very ironic, Peter. It was the pot calling the kettle black down there.
Let me just ask straight up yes and no on a couple of things. Last week you talked about driving after you'd been drinking. Now, were you drunk when you were driving?
No, Peter, what I said, and all of us have done this. Whoever has a license, you've gone to a dinner party, you go out to a restaurant with your wife, you have a glass of wine. Mm-hmm. Do you drive? Absolutely, you drive.
Yeah.
That's
if you drank in moderation, below the limit.
Below the limit.
But is that what you were talking about in your...
That's exactly what I said. I said, yes. They said, you've drinking? Yes, absolutely. Everybody has.
So you haven't been drunk?
Never.
Driving.
What?
Okay.
I've never, ever been drunk and driven.
Marijuana while you've been mayor?
Yes.
Crack while you've been mayor?
Yes.
More than once?
No. This is an isolated incident.
Once on crack? Ever on cocaine?
Yes.
Yes, on cocaine.
I've admitted that. Yes, I admitted that.
Once or more than once?
I just said that. I've answered your question.
On cocaine, more than
Yes.
once?
When I was younger, I experimented with drugs.
No, I mean while you've been mayor.
No.
Never cocaine while you've been
No.
mayor? Ever on drugs in this office?
Never.
And you purchase drugs yourself? As opposed to having been given by a friend or whatever, you actually purchased the drugs?
Yes.
Now, is that an illegal act?
That's an illegal act. Yes, I've bought marijuana.
While you've been mayor?
Yes.
And what should people think of that? Should they think that you should be charged? You committed an illegal act.
You're absolutely right. But there's a lot of people that have done what I've done that sat right on that council chamber floor that have purchased marijuana. Absolutely.
Okay, I don't know that to be a fact, but I know it to be a fact. But let's let that aside. They're not the mayor. You're the mayor of Toronto.
You know what? I'm a human being, okay? Peter, nobody has helped more people in this city than Rob Ford. Nobody. Am I perfect? No, I'm not perfect. But when it comes to running the city, I've run the city better than any mayor ever has. I've saved more taxpayers' money than ever has. I've changed the culture down here. You don't hear about the scandals anymore.
Well, I mean, the whole world's hearing about what they think is a scandal right now with you.
I mean, a money scandal. Compare us to the provincial government. Yeah. $1 billion scandal. That's criminal. The Senate up in Ottawa. That's criminal. In my personal opinion, that's criminal. There's not one time, Peter, not one time you'll ever find me stealing a dime of taxpayers' money. Ever.
Okay. You've mentioned, and your brother's mentioned, how you are seeking help for some of your issues, that you've got professional health care helping you. Can you tell us, what does that mean?
That means I'm dealing with professionals.
Are you dealing on, is it your weight? Is it drugs? Is it alcohol?
I'm dealing with my health issues. And that's what my doctor advised me.
Are all three of those health issues?
No, I would say my excessive drinking at times, I don't do drugs, and my health and my weight. I'm training every day. I haven't touched a drop of alcohol in 3 weeks, and I don't do drugs.
The last time you did drugs was?
A year ago sometime.
Would it have been this incident with the crack?
Probably, yes. Probably in and around a year. I don't know exactly when it was, but probably in about a year ago.
Do you remember anything about that night?
I haven't seen the video. I don't know. I was probably pretty inebriated. Very inebriated. You heard about the St. Patrick's Day bringing up 2 years ago. You know what happens when you get to a certain point? When you're very, very inebriated? You remember this, you might not remember that. There's this points, I hate to say it, there's this blackout period that I think we all have gone through. As a teenager, going to university, some people drink to excess. Again, some people are perfect. I'm not. I got caught. I admitted it. I came forward and said, yes, I have. And now I'm getting punished for telling the truth.
Alessandro Lisi, how does a guy with a criminal past like that end up working on your personal staff?
He didn't work on my personal staff.
He was a part-time driver,
And
right?
he's in front of the courts right now, and I'm not going to comment about Mr. Lisi.
You won't talk about how he ended up driving your car?
He's in front. He's in front of the courts now, and I cannot talk about Mr. Lisi.
What about the police investigation?
My lawyer has advised me, do not be interviewed by the police.
And what would that be based on? Why would you not
Talk to my lawyer. Dennis Morris is the top criminal lawyer in Canada, and he said you do not talk to the police. You can talk to Dennis Morris about that.
But what kind of signal does that send, do you think?
Talk to my lawyer, Dennis Morris, about that. I cannot talk about anything before the courts.
What's your sense of what this signal is to the rest of the world about Toronto? Not only do you know the reporters have been here, you have kind of embraced it. You've been doing interviews with organizations from around the world. You've seen what's been put on late night television. What do you make of that?
Well, obviously, it's one of the biggest stories in the country. We want to get our message out. Who would ever think, as I said before you came in here, Peter, the first interview we actually did, a sit-down, we haven't done a sit-down with any other media outlet in the world, including CNN. We didn't do the sit-down. We picked Peter Mansbridge from CBC. Who would ever think that the Fords would have CBC in here first over anyone? No one. Has the media been fair? No, they haven't. And it's not just the Ford brothers saying that. It's very obvious that the Rob's been under siege, under attack by the media from day one. From day one, when their man never won, we're just under siege. What happened today, in our opinion, in our lawyer's opinion, George Rusty, he wrote the statute. This is political. He told us he's never seen anything like this before.
So are you going to fight it?
Absolutely, we're going to fight it. 100%. But Peter, they went ahead, and this is the worst day in Canadian history for democracy. Let's put the personal issues aside. We got to take that to the side. This is about the future of the city, that if they don't like the future mayor, they take the powers off.
If all this was political, did you play into their hands by your personal actions?
Did I play into their hands?
Well, in the sense that your personal life caught up to you. And they, if you believe, the two of you, that this was all political on the part of your political enemies, they use these incidents, the crack, the drinking,
Right.
the being hammered in public, as you
Right.
said. Did you play right into their hands?
That's all they have. I could get personal.
It's quite
too.
a bit.
You don't think they've ever been drunk in public?
But that's not the point.
Well,
You're
most
the mayor.
definitely it is.
But you're the only mayor, right?
Right?
And they targeted
So
you,
if I-
and they used your personal lifestyle to go after you, right?
Peter, yeah, absolutely they did. You don't kick someone when they're down. And I'm not a very religious guy, but my dad did teach Bible school, and prayer is important to me. And he who shall cast the first stone has never sinned. Everyone has sinned. And you know what? I admitted I sinned. I apologize. It was humiliating, degrading to come out like this, but I have.
Well, coming up, the conclusion of our feature interview with Rob and Doug Ford.
I'll tell you, he will lose weight. He'll get his life moving forward in the right direction. He's on the right track right now. And we're going to work hard for the taxpayers.
You set a timetable just a moment ago. You said 5 months. If I'm sitting here across from you 5 months from now, what will I be looking at?
You'll look at someone who's 30 pounds at least lighter. Probably going to have a couple inches bigger arms, more solid chest. And we're going to see talk is cheap. My name's going on the ballot on January 2nd, and come and talk to me on election night on October 27th.
And no drinking between now and those 5 months?
I'll do a test anytime you want me to. Anytime you want to do a test, be more than willing to do a
But
test.
are you like off alcohol now? You're
Completely.
done with alcohol?
Finished.
You'll never drink again?
Finished.
You know,
I've had a come to Jesus moment, if you want to call it that.
And what turned it? What was the moment?
probably Jim.
Yeah?
Jim's talk that night.
Just the humiliation and the belittling and the people I've let down, and it's all because of alcohol. Excessive, stupid, immature behavior. And that's it.
I'll tell you, Rob, and hopefully he won't be upset. He called me after he saw Jim. Says, I'm changing my life. This is a man that went out there for us, supported us, but not just for Jim, but for Rob. But if you're asking the turning point, when Rob said, is enough, done, I'm focusing, is when you see someone like Jim Flaherty getting choked up on doing an interview.
I let my mom down, I let my brothers down, I let my wife down, my kids down, and I let my dad down. I know he's upstairs watching this.
We're going to leave it at that for this day. We'll see you in 5 months.
Maybe even
Absolutely.
sooner, hopefully.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Well, we'll stay on this story for you in the days to come.